Driving sideways down Rampart Street, sirens waving Crescent City heat. Sweet Louisiana bayou, baby puts the pedal to the metal, metal pushes 80. White lightning in a hurricane, use the fire on Thunder Road, holds the curves to the wheel, wheels to the Chevy while the levee breaks and overflows. She drinking whiskey and water, rain pouring down, muddy river rising, gonna flood this town. Whiskey and water, smile on her face, driving like the devil blessed with God's good grace. Whiskey and water with a 12-year-old niece, she's the dangerous daughter of the chief of police. On her hands and feet, crazy rhythm in her heartbeat. Mama's gone, she's daddy's pretty little baby, puts the pedal to the metal, metal pushes 80. White lightning in a hurricane, fuse the fire on Thunder Road, holds the curves to the wheel, wheels to the Chevy while the levee breaks and overflows. Drinking whiskey and water, rain pouring down, muddy river rising, gonna flood this town. Whiskey and water, smile on her face, driving like the devil blessed with God's good grace. Whiskey and water with a 12-year-old niece, she's the dangerous daughter of the chief of police. Looking for no sympathy, she needs to feel like she's alive. While drinking whiskey and water, rain pouring down, muddy river rising, gonna flood this town. Whiskey and water, smile on her face, driving like the devil blessed with God's good grace. Whiskey and water with a 12-year-old niece, she's the dangerous daughter of the chief of police. Whiskey and water, all that lipstick and lace, the dangerous daughter with the innocent face. Whiskey and water, rain pouring down, she hears the wind howling, honey, daddy runs this town. Whiskey and water, whiskey and water.
Nice. Very nice. I'm going to steal this. So, Doug, once again, privileged to have you and Jeremy here on my first show on Unregular Radio with Gracie. And welcome.
Thank you. It's all a big family here, isn't it?
It really is. I mean, you know, I love you, man. You know that. And it's just wonderful to have such talented friends like yourself. And
thank you, Jim.
Yeah, man. And Jeremy, you know, when I first saw you and Doug at Chan's there, it was like you guys just fit together like a hand in glove. How did this come about? You do production work, right?
I do. You know, I play in a few bands around Boston, but I'm also a session player at what's now Red 13 Media in Framingham, and with producer Jim Foster, who Doug was working with, and I was hanging around the studio one day, and I got to meet Doug, and I want to say I was just noodling around on a guitar in the green room or something, and he sat down with me, and we talked about music a little bit, and just really hit it off right away.
That's so tough with Doug Bell if you really love music, right?
I know, yeah. I could say no wrong at that point, I guess.
Exactly.
And yeah, it sort of started a real friendship and a musical endeavor that we're still doing. You know,
the voices sound great together, by the way.
Thank you.
I assume you guys realize that very quickly, that your voices just really mesh.
Yeah, somehow we got really lucky with that. And the interesting thing is, Jeremy went into the studio without even my knowing about it with the producer, and then layered in these unbelievable Eagles type voices. Then sent me the result, and it was like, that's it. That's the sound I'm looking for. And he did all of them himself, so it was pretty cool.
And you know, folks know you as the band leader of Bellevue Cadillac, the swing band that's traveled the world over from Moscow to Turkey to Greece and back again, and had this other life with the swing band and numerous Grammy nominations. But you're really trying to turn the page to some degree and be more of a songwriter now, aren't you?
I've always been that, Jim. The swing part of it was only just a little bit of what I write about, or the styles that I write. So I just got really lucky with that when it hit so big. But I've got R&B and Memphis and country and Appalachian stuff. There's so many styles that I love, and Jeremy's the same way. He's right with me in every single step I take. Every twisted turn that frustrates most people, he's right there. So it's pretty cool.
That's great. You know, if you have a regular diet of just wonderful American music, then boom, this is what you guys get, right?
Exactly right. Yeah.
And so, Jeremy, tell me, I've bent Doug's ear plenty about his likes and dislikes. What really turns you on musically?
So much. You know, I'm strange that way. If you look in my CD player in my car, there's 6 different genres of music going on. You know, I love classic 70s rock and roll. I'm in a band called Grassroot that plays just that, and we play around Boston. But then I love bluegrass music, and I love you know, jazz music and blues and Americana and funk, and you know, I listen to everything because most music has something to offer you.
Absolutely.
You know? But yeah, you know, really, ideally, and especially for what I do with Doug, it's that 70s influenced, a lot of vocals, you know, Eagles type stuff. And really just try to pull from that as much as I can, Beach Boys and things like that.
You remember, Jimmy, when we met one of the Marcellus brothers at the Jazz Festival in Newport?
Winton. Yep.
One of the great things that he had said was, if it's not rooted in the blues and it doesn't swing, it ain't jazz. I mean, that, you know, so that's part of it. So all of the music really predicated on that philosophy. You know, whether it was Celtic music that came from you know, Scotland and Ireland, and it came down in the fiddle and any of the instruments that they could lay their hands on, all the way down to Appalachia, and then you've got New Orleans and the French influence, Cajun stuff. I mean, we're just such an incredible melting pot as a nation and as the music that you almost could stretch the genres just about anywhere you want to go. But you never lose the blues and you never lose jazz somehow.
No, you're absolutely right. And you know, and you're not afraid to pick up a smaller folk instrument, which is what I love about you. I mean,
I mean, because I started out with Elvis. So if you think about it, it was Memphis meets gospel, or country meets gospel meets blues, right? They were the 3 primary things, and they were all right that nexus. And so much came out of all of that. So that's the deal for me.
That's cool. And you know, not to tip your hand in everything that you're doing that might be secret in you know, the cave there at home, but you know, you've been sending tunes to like Dan Penn and songwriters like that.
Yeah, I've been
That's
really
crazy.
I've been fortunate where Dan has been talking to me about producing one of my albums. Professor Louis, who produced the band with Toussaint, with Alan Toussaint.
Yeah.
And we're going in and we're doing a record with him, with Jeremy, and then the Allman Brothers studio. Bud Snyder was the front of house for the Allmans. We're doing some stuff with him, and I'm doing a Jay Giles Jazz and Blues CD. So, I mean, they're allowing me to be able to go in there genre specific and do that kind of music, you know, wherever I go. So it means I hope that the songwriting is strong enough so that it can be bent and shaped the way that the producers want to do it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and you know, this move with your wife, who's a preeminent surgeon, being down in Florida, you've been spending more time down there, and that's opened some new musical doors. You've recently opened for Dionne Warwick, and you've connected, most importantly, with these folks around Dangerous Dan Toller and the guys in the Allman Brothers, Robbie Krieger.
Yep, they've all been really great to
you
me,
know, who was in Bloodlines with Joe Bonamassa. and Robbie Creek. Tell me all about it what you've been doing.
No, but I mean all of those things. It's really interesting that it's such a musical area, which I really did not know. I'm on the East Coast of Florida, which is in the Palm Beach area. And it's not the greatest music scene. There's a lot of country there, but it's not for me. It's not a musical community like, let's say, Nashville or Memphis even and Austin. But the West Coast, for some reason, in the Sarasota area, has a tremendous amount of these guys that live out in this ranches area, which is very rural.
Yeah.
But they all know each other, and they cross-pollinate. They come in and play with one another. So, we did the benefit for Danny Toller with...
he's got ALS. He's got Lou Gehrig's disease,
yes,
sadly.
He does. I just did another one with him recently, and we brought, of all people, Franny Sheehan from the band Boston.
Yeah.
Because they were friends. Who knew that?
No, I didn't.
So the nice thing is that without the heavy weight of the record companies and the A&R guys, we're allowed to bring people like you would say. I played with Hugh McDonald, who was Bon Jovi's bass player, and we played Boston songs, and so we can all play together. We had Mousy Thompson, who was James Brown's drummer, and we had the Wailers keyboard player. We all play together because we like each other and we respect each other, and we'll play any kind of music, and no one can tell us that we can't do that. Oh, you're from a different genre. It's it's really a big deal to have those musical families that just doesn't have the bull crap attached to it.
Yeah.
For me.
Absolutely. It's what you're all about.
Yeah.
And you always have been. With that being said, I want to hear you guys play a little more before we run short on time. I don't want to talk too much.
Sure.
So let me swing this mic around.
All right.
And
you want to do Firecracker maybe?
do what you got to do.
Firecracker, sure.
There it is. It's coming over. All right. You want to set it up?
How's that feel?
All right. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Red clay under my feet. Feel that sun grind down. When it rains so hard, poor catfish drown. The ghost of Mr. Johnson cling like kudzu to the tree. It was the Mississippi, this is where it be. Just a white-hot firecracker, sleepy southern town. Northern chili pepper come to lay his burden down. Another firecracker, looking for that sound. White-hot chili pepper come, leave that hallowed ground. Firecracker, firecracker, firecracker. You're fooling around. When I hate you, just a firecracker, white lightning in your hand, stirring up that muddy water, just raising so much sand. Well, son, I ain't the devil, not the seventh son. Don't know what it is you're looking for, but I know what's done is done. Yeah, I know what's done is done. Know what's done is done. 'Cause I ain't got no chicken foot, no badass mojo bone. Must you take that northbound train, leave us here alone. Firecracker, 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 firecracker. Well, hey, firecracker, you quit your fooling around. Come on, Jeremy. There's 1,000 Mr. Johnson. They hang like breadfruit from the tree. You can hear the moans from Mississippi. Hear the moans from Mississippi. You can hear the moans from Mississippi clear down to Memphis, Tennessee. You're just a white-hot firecracker, sleepy southern town. Northern chili peppercorn just lay his burden down. Another firecracker, mark that hallowed ground. Northern chili pepper, he's coming looking for that sound. Firecracker, 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 firecracker. Well, now, hey, firecracker, you quit your fooling around. Well, now, hey, firecracker. Well, now, hey, firecracker, you quit your fooling around. Like a loud noise, you like the bad boys, you like the dangerous play toys. You're wild at heart and never be tamed. You're blind like a fine line between the shadow and sunshine. It's all over and ain't it a shame? I'm trying so hard not to say my heart I would never betray. I just need that something to help me hang on. So I'm drinking, drinking, doing some serious thinking. Plenty of miles, and once in a while it goes wrong. I was reckless, reckless, where a hand's loose for a necklace. Suddenly clearer when love smoking mirrors are gone. Yeah, it's suddenly clearer when love smoking mirrors are gone. Life could be cruel and confusing if it wasn't so damn amusing. It's always just a little too late. Jeremy. Take the last ride to the dark side. It's just another little thorn in my pride. And that's all over, but I really gave it my all. With a quick move and a dance groove. You always had something you had to prove. So wild and hard, and I know never be tamed. My heart I would never betray. I just needed something to help me hang on. So I'm thinking, doing some serious drinking. Many a mile. Once in a while it goes wrong. I was reckless, reckless. My hangman's loose for a necklace. When smoking mirrors are gone. We've been drinking. What the hell was I thinking? It's suddenly clearer when the smoking mirrors are gone. Yeah, it's suddenly clearer when the smoking mirrors are gone. It's suddenly clearer when the smoking mirrors are gone.
You're listening to Blues and Beyond with Jim Carty and Gracie Curran, and our guest, Mr. Jeremy Carter, Doug Bell. And I can't thank you guys enough for joining us tonight. And I want to invite you to co-host the rest of the show or hang out for a little while or as long as you can.
Be a privilege for us. For
yeah,
sure,
man.
Jim.
Why don't we we'll give Gracie a mic back, and we'll get back on track here. But I have a feeling that our next set, Mr. Bell, you're going to have something to say about. I put together a nice jazz set.
Nice.
Well, you know, a couple of years ago, GBH blew away their blues programming.
Now they're going for the jazz program.
And now they're axing the jazz programming. And so, you know, my show, Blues and Beyond, I always do blues, jazz, jam, rock, and Americana. And keep anything with a streak of blues in it alive and well in Boston. So Unregular Radio, I want folks to know, is an alternative to GBH now, and hope folks really get used to listening to Gracie and myself every Sunday from 7 to 9.
We will be. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, so wonderful a scene here, and people lose their jobs. People did lose their jobs when blues went off the air at GBH. And, you know, club owners told me they can no longer book as much blues, and blues musicians' pay has gone down. It's less now in actual dollars than it was in the 70s. It's frightening. You know, a band is making what a single guy would make in the 70s or 80s in a blues band, and to do a club date. And, you know, I'm speaking the truth.
Yes, I do.
It's awful. But with that being said, you know, we're going to cue up this jazz set here. Coming to Scullers, Fred Taylor, been presenting jazz here in Boston for years. Scullers has the Newport Jazz All-Stars, Howard Alden, Anat Cohen, and, of course, George Wein, the founder of both New Orleans Jazz Fest and Newport Jazz Fest, are on that gig. And that will be on July 21st. The Persuasions, July 25th at Scullers. Ronnie Earl, July 26th. And then, of course, the Newport Jazz Fest, August 3 through 5. Dr. John playing at the Tennis Hall of Fame on that Friday to kick it off. And nothing cooler. But the Newport All-Stars doing Jump the Blues is going to kick off this set. And this is back from the 50s, I believe, at Newport. So let's groove on this.
We're going to jump the blues, folks. Here they are.
Bell and Jeremy Carter bring us out on a tune. I'll let you guys preface it because it's a real special tune.
Jeremy, you can pick it up, or Gracie. Why don't you pick it up? You're a big fan.
I am a big fan. So I had the pleasure of speaking with Doug a little bit about somebody that we both very much admired, in Amy Winehouse. And Doug actually wrote this tune kind of after Amy passed, kind of in the idea that, you know, this is a woman with so much talent and so much to offer us, and it's such a loss for us. So I think this expresses it pretty well.
Why do you stop and stare? Wasted in a James Dean kind of way, like a child just won't behave. Down on your knees, some kind of prayer. Why do we stop and stare at a train wreck? At a train wreck, at a train wreck, pulls like a magnet. Why do we stop and stare? We already know where it's going. Right from the start, you lost all control. Sang from the heart, surrendered your soul. You surrendered your soul. Why do we stop and stare? No matter how sweet the touch, you'll only scream. Pain's just too much. No one can love you. No one can care. Why do we stop and stare at a train wreck? At a train wreck. At a train wreck. Feels like a magnet. Why do we stop and stare? We already know where it's going. Where it's going. Where it's going. Why do we stop and stare?
Nice.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Thank you guys for
Gracie.
coming in.
Thank you.
Thanks for Tomo for producing, Gracie for being a great co-host, and thank you for everybody listening who was on Facebook. And we'll see you next week, 7 to 9. Blues and Beyond with Jim Carty and Gracie Curran.